Speaking of Keefe D, news broke a few, days ago that he couldn't afford a lawyer. What you think about that?
The fact that he can't afford a lawyer, I think that's bad news. I mean, you would think that some of the people who he has been covering for and doubling down with and hanging out with and being loyal to, you would think they would come to, his defense somewhat. I mean, if he's guilty of participating in Tupac's assassination, he does need to be held accountable for that. Even though the assassination was 27 years ago, he did take a life. But at the same time, he should not be exclusively responsible if he was not exclusively involved. And we all know that this was a well-organized, orchestrated assassination that involved multiple parties and multiple institutions. So again, as I said earlier, he's the fall guy, but it's just a shame. And it shows you how when people need you, they need you until they don't need you. It's going to be interesting to see what him and his public pretender talks about, because, the public pretender is there to get a conviction. He's going to act like he's there to help you. But this thing has already been played out in court without Keefe D. They just got to play the monkey game with him to make him think he's going to get a fair trial. He's not getting a fair trial, just like James Earl Ray didn't get a fair trial, because there's too many people who need you to get convicted for this case so the conversation can go away. In my opinion, it's probably a foregone conclusion unless somebody else get dragged into this. And I'm not a gangster. I'm a revolutionary activist and a scholar, but from a street perspective, I mean, I'm from the ghetto, so I know enough of it. I don't know why he continued to keep talking about the situation. It's almost like he served himself up as a pansy, as a patsy for this, as a mule, because if they're looking for somebody to dump this on and you just keep on talking and making yourself associated with Tupac's murder, you kind of help them implicate you in this. Now I do understand he thought he had a deal, some sort of immunity, but folks said that immunity was for Cali, not Vegas. You would think he would know that. I just think he thought they was done with it. And the lesson from the Keefe D case, nothing's ever done with. When it comes to the power structure of the U.S. government, nothing is ever done with, ever. They will bring up something from 200 years ago if they need to in order to let somebody off and dump it on somebody else. Keefe D is a scapegoat.
So you really believe he's a scapegoat?
I believe Keefe D is a scapegoat. Now, if they brought in all kinds of people, I'm going to tell you like this. There is no honest solving of Tupac and Biggie's murder without police being brought into the equation. Until I see police being charged in these conspiracies, then the whole thing is a scam and a sham. They don't get murdered without the participation of the Los Angeles Police Department and the Las Vegas Police Department. They can't get murdered without them. So anybody being brought up for charges on those murders and no police are involved, it's a scam in the front. They need to shut the door on this case, because there are people out there who are concerned that if people keep talking, their name going to get spit out and they're going to get implicated in this situation.